the Kakukuru to discuss Dr. Nujoma's legacy and the current stage of Namibia-Botswana relations. Ms. Elizabeth, good afternoon, and thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, good afternoon, Nana. Good afternoon to all the listeners out there.
Well, to start with, Ms. Elizabeth, we know that Dr. Sam Nujoma played a pivotal role in shaping the nation's foreign policy as its founding president. How, to start with, talk to us about how his leadership influenced the establishment as well as the development of diplomatic relations between Namibia and Botswana.
Okay, thank you very much for that question. Let me first of all, at the onset, convey my heartfelt condolences to all the Namibian people on this very sad occasion, and also my condolences to the government and to the family of our late founding president. Indeed, the late founding president, Dr. Sam Shafishuna Nujoma, played a very key role in fostering strong diplomatic relations between our two countries, between Namibia and the Republic of Botswana. As the founding president, during his tenure, he cemented those close political and economic and cultural relations between our two countries that we are still enjoying today. And Botswana as a country also played a very important role in the history of our liberation struggle, as it was an indispensable escape route which was used for many freedom fighters who were going into exile. And our founding president's relations with Botswana started during those years, going back to the liberation struggle, as he used Botswana as an escape route with the support of our late Chief Hosea Kutako when he went into exile in the 1960s. So it was just a week ago where we went to see the vehicle that actually transported our founding president from Kobabes to the border in Botswana. We went to see the house, which was, the remains of the house, which housed him when he reached the border. They have to walk up to a place called Charles Hill. We went to see, and that's where he was first received before proceeding to other places in Botswana. So since Namibia's independence in 1990, there are some key aspects, that has really that have been developed between our two countries. If you look at border and trade relations, Namibia and Botswana worked together to facilitate trade and movement of people, including signing a lot of agreements on border cooperation, the Trans-Kalahari Corridor, linking Namibia and Botswana, as well as the Val-Vespa Corridor. It was also during our founding president that Botswana also got a dry port in Val-Vespa. During this time also, there have been peaceful resolution disputes. If you remember the Kasikili Sedudu Island dispute, which was, ruled in favor of Botswana, but it did not affect our relations as a neighboring country.
Thank you, Ms. Elizabeth. Thank you so much. Thank you for that elaborate response. Thank you. You mentioned some signing of agreements, and we do know that, in February of 2023, Namibia and Botswana signed an agreement allowing citizens to cross border using only their national identity cards or their ID cards, eliminating the need for passports. So how has this development impacted the movement of people and goods between the two countries?
Yes, it did. In all our countries, IDs documents that almost everybody have. When it comes to passport, this came, as a very welcoming development, and it has improved and enhanced, the movement of people between our two sister countries. So following this, citizens from both countries can easily move, as a family together for, any reason that they want to move. For example, this agreement allows, our people to use, even if you don't have a passport. We had a case of one Namibian who was visiting here, and then the passport got lost. So he was worried. He wanted to apply for emergency traveling documents. But when we discovered that he has his ID, we informed him that no, you can actually use your ID, to cross the border. So it has also boosted, trade and businesses, especially among small traders. They can easily cross the border between the two countries. For business people, also, it's really allowing that smooth and seamless movement between of our people between our two countries. It is also, enhancing regional integration. As you also know, that with SADC, there's also, the protocol on the movement of people. Where we want to integrate, we cannot integrate, if there's no free movement, easy movement of people between our countries.
You
So
also briefly
both the two
mentioned
countries, we have expressed our satisfactory. Express our satisfaction to this process, and also to make it easier. Also, like one of our border, the Trans-Kalahari border post. We have developed a one-stop border. So which is a one-stop border post, and also it's open 24 hours. So it has really moved, made the movement of people between these two countries very easy. I think if we can look at the statistics, we will see that, the number of people who are crossing the borders have increased as compared to the era when we did not have this mechanism of crossing using our IDs.
You also, of course, have been touching on the Trans-Kalahari project. Now, the Trans-Kalahari Railway project has been a significant point of discussion between the two countries. So provide an update on this initiative and the potential benefits for both our nations.
Okay, the Trans-Kalahari is a very good, and also is a very significant project between our two countries, which have been developed within the framework of the Walvis Bay, Botswana, Gauteng, Maputo Development Corridor. So this one, it provides an onward connection from Gauteng to Maputo to Mozambique. So together, these corridors will form a unique road connection between our countries, and it will also, provide smooth movement of goods. Trucks, a lot of if you travel to Botswana, you will see that, there are a lot of trucks on the road, and with accidents, because drivers have to travel long distances to drop and come back again to pick, items between the countries, going to South Africa and all that. If we have the railway, it will really easy. It will, make transportation of these goods very fast and smooth, and also, moving by rail will also be cheaper. So currently, the project is still a priority in between our member states. We have so far, because initially the feasibility study that was done in 2011 is now outdated. It's being reviewed, taking into consideration new technology. So the project where we are now is to appoint a consultant to review, to carry out a review, a new feasibility study, so that, the project can move on. So this is going to be a very significant and very important, project, also not only moving goods, but also people between our two countries. As we know, the influx of movement of people between our two countries have increased.
Just lastly, Ms. Elizabeth, looking ahead, what are the key areas, where Namibia and Botswana can further enhance their partnership to achieve common goals for the region's stability?
Yes, I think as neighboring countries, we do have a lot of agreements that we've signed. Our cooperation have reached the level of the BNC, where we meet at the level of the heads of state, and there are a number of agreements that we have signed. Maybe to mention, for example, one of the key areas is trade and investment, where both of us are members to the SADC community. We are all members of SADC, and also the SADC free trade area. We are also members of the African free trade area at the continental level. So trade, if we can enhance our trade investment cooperation, that will be very key. And also, if you look at tourism, both our two countries, tourism are key sectors, in Botswana and also in Namibia. It will be good if we can cooperate. For example, we have tourists who come, in the region. Most of them, they will go through Botswana to Namibia or go through Namibia to Botswana. So those are areas where we see how we can cooperate. And then the infrastructure development, we've already referred to the railway. There are also other issues like environment and wildlife. Those are also areas where we can look at and see, where we both have, advantages. If we can cooperate, it will really help us as two nations to develop. We also have the issue of energy. Energy is a very key sector now currently, where we are looking at how do we enhance and develop our clean energy. For example, looking at solar. Those are areas where we as two sister countries can cooperate, not even to forget about the issue of water resource management. We are all affected by drought, flooding. Like now, when it's raining a lot, it's flooding in Botswana, it's flooding in Namibia. When it's drought, we lose our livestock. So those are areas that we can see how can our cooperation, assist us as two sister countries, to move further. We also have agreements that we have signed in the area of culture, education. As two countries which shares, values, we've got customs, people of the same culture living alongside our borders. So it will be also very important to make sure that, we develop, agreements or we enhance, those cultural activities and that we share as two sister countries. And also education is very important, that we also look into how we can cooperate as two sister countries in terms of education. And also health, we do face common challenges, and it will be good if we reach agreements where we can cooperate as countries who are sharing close borders.
Madam Elizabeth Kakukuru, thank you so much for your time and thank you for joining us.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
That was Namibia's High Commissioner to Botswana speaking to us via Zoom. We'll be right back after this brief break.